Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone. Who's there with us? Jeffrey. Hello, Jeffrey.
Hi,
how are you?
Hello, David. Good to see you again.
Hello, Rob.
Hello, Louis. How's it? How are you all? Are you all well?
Baruch Hashem.
I have to take off.
Good, good. I missed you. I miss you, guy. Where are you? I see that Ronaldo joined us. Hello, Ronald. It's nice to see you with us. Dr. Les with us. Who else with? Oh, Lionel with us. I see that Ivan and Anthony with us. Who else with us? Let's see who else with us. Dr. Les,
Hello,
how are you?
Rob. How are you?
Good, Rob. How are you? I'm just going to go, Ah, Rob, it's so good to see you. How are you?
When I hear you, always good. Give us the good news from Eretz HaKodesh.
Okay, so I'll tell you, there's actually quite amazing news. You know, Naftali Bennett, who wears a kippah, who keeps Shabbos, who keeps kosher. So he was in Scotland with all the world leaders. And there you have the representative of Israel wearing a kippah, mixing with all the world leaders. It's actually quite unbelievable. You know, it's a very positive thing. Very proud to be from and amazing. And, you know, it gives everybody such hope that anybody can become the Prime Minister of Israel. You know, it's any Yid, please God, who feels passionate about it, like Bennett. He wasn't even born here, and he's now the leader. But they are having the budget vote on the 14th of November, and that's going to be quite interesting because if they don't pass the vote, there's going to be further elections. And maybe it's not a bad thing. If they don't pass the budget vote, then it goes to elections. But maybe it's not a bad thing because it would be better, Dafke, if the Likud would come in, because a lot of money have gone to like the
Abbas, yes, Abbas, I know.
To the Arab parties to that they would pass this budget. Yeah. So and they've taken from like the more from the Haredi. So people are hoping that something will happen, and the majority of the people vote Likud. So let's hope that the Likud come in again.
Be'ezrat Hashem, no? Be'ezrat Hashem, akol bidei shamayim.
Chodesh Tov Rav and Shabbat Shalom as well.
All the best. Thank you, Dr. Les. We're going to start the show, Be'ezrat Hashem. I'm going to mute everyone. And Louis, you're going to unmute yourself later on, okay? So, Be'ezrat Hashem, na'aseh v'natzliach, v'Hashem aleinu berachamav yarviach. First of all, I would like to wish all of you Rosh Chodesh Tov, Rosh Chodesh. We are now in Rosh Chodesh Kislev, believe it or not. We are now Rosh Chodesh Kislev. It's the month of miracle to all the Jewish people, Be'ezrat Hashem. I would like to first dedicate the show in honor of Esther Kaden Bat Ketzia, Mordechai ben Rahma, Harav Avraham Chaim ben Eliezer Yaakov, Tamar Bat Zehava, Rachel Bat Malka Sultana, Yaakov Salomon ben Farha, Dvorah Ruth Bat Beila, Nishmatam Tiyet Tzrura Betzur HaChaim, please God, that will uplift their soul to the proper place in heaven. Also, I would like to dedicate the shiur in health of Liora Bat Miriam, Menashe Naji ben Farha, Orna Bluma Bat Miriam, Harav Avraham ben Marina, Harav Shlomo Yehuda ben Dalia, Harav Moshe ben Devora, Eitan ben Adasa, Israel ben Zisa, Mordechai David ben Leah, Dvorah Bat Esther, Sarah Devora Bat Elka, Tzadok ben Sarah, Shulamit Bat Haya Shein Alea, Aryeh ben Gito, David ben Yehudit, ושרה רבקה בת יהודית. Please God, רפואה שלמה to them, and שאר כל חולי עמו ישראל. So as our custom, before we start the show, we do usually introduction for the parsha. So when we read it on Shabbos, it will give us some kind of idea and time. The most important is the time. When is every situation happen in the world? In the year 2108 from the creation, Yaakov Avinu and Esav Rasha born to the father Yitzhak Avinu. Yitzhak Avinu was in the age of 60, and Rivka Imenu was in the age of 23. According to Rashi HaKadosh, listen to that, okay? She was 23. According to the Hagara is the Gaon Mivilna. The Gaon Mivilna said no. Rivka, matter of fact, was an age of 34. That's mean, what is the difference? Because according to Rashi, when Yitzhak Avinu took Rivka, when he married her, she was 3 years old. According to the Gaon Mivilna, not at all. She was 14 years old. 20 years later, she was 34. That's when they born. Now, when the two twin born, when Yaakov Avinu born, Rabotai, he born circumcised. Yaakov Avinu was such a nice looking man that Hazal say was looking exactly like Adam HaRishon, that been created by the Almighty. Esav HaRasha, from the other way, he was Admoni. Admoni, Hazal say, redhead. Not only that, he born, imagine a baby born with beard, imagine you have beard like me, hair, not only that, he have teeth. He can bite, he can chew things, he can eat. That was Esav HaRasha. In the year 2123 from the creation, Avraham Avinu died in the age of 175. Okay? Yitzhak Avinu was then in the age of 75. Okay? Yaakov Avinu and Esav HaRasha was in the age of 15. And listen to that. We explained last week the main reason that Avraham Avinu died earlier, because the HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't want him to see his grandson Esav, okay, Yotze L'Tarabut Ra, that's behaving badly. What happened in the same day? Hazal in the Gemara in Masechet Baba Batra, in page 16, folio 2, Hazal tell us, listen to that. In the same day that Avraham Avinu passed away, Esav HaRasha, at the age of 15, committed 5 most worst averot that a person can do. Number 1, Shpichut Damim. Shpichut Damim is a murder. He killed Nimrod HaRasha. Avodah Zarah, he worshipped idols. Gilui Arayot, that means that he had unforbidden relationship with a married woman. Kafar betchiyat hametim ve'baikar, that means he didn't believe in the resurrection of the dead, and he doesn't believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Number 5, listen to that, the gezel. What it means, gezel? That he stole, robbed. Those 5 main sin that he done on the same day, okay, that Avraham Avinu passed away. And the same day, what happened? We know that Esav HaRasha sell his right, the birthright to Yaakov Avinu, and that's for a bowl of lentil. In the year 2148 for the creation, and I'm specially bringing it, you'll see now why. Esav HaRasha married his first wife, Yehudit Bat Be'eri, and Hazal explained that that was Alibama Bat Ena. Alibama Bat Ena, that was his first wife. Why am I saying it? That because Esav HaRasha was in the age of 40 at that time, in the year 2148 for the creation. Okay, why did he done it? Hazal explained that he tried to copy his father, exactly like the pig. The pig have a split hooves. So when you see a pig sitting, he sit with his legs in the front to show that he have a split hooves, but he doesn't, that's why it's not kosher. So here, Esav HaRasha tried to show that he's exactly like his father, Yitzhak Avinu, that married in the same age. Okay. That what happened after that in the year 2150, and 71 for the creation, the two mothers born, Rachel and Leah, they born to their father, Lavan Arami. Lavan Arami is our grandfather, another grandfather like this, Chas v'shalom. It's enough, we have one. And to her mother. You know what was Rachel and Leah's mother's name? Hazal tell us that was her name was Adina. The mother, remember, the mother of Rachel and Leah was Adina. The mother of Rivka Imenu, we explained last week, her name was Devorah. When did they born? They born in the year 2171 from the creation, and they're born on Yudalet Nisan. For the future, it's going to be Erev Pesach. That's the introduction for the Parsha to let us know what's happening a bit in a Parsha. And now, Be'ezrat Hashem, I'm going to start to speak about the Parsha. Louis, you can unmute yourself because we're going to start the Parsha. And the Parsha that we're going to read is Parshat Toldot. And the Parsha starts like this. Ve'ele Toldot Yitzhak ben Avraham. Avraham olid et Yitzhak.
And these are the offsprings of Isaac, the son of Abraham. Abraham begot Isaac.
Last year and the previous year before, we start with the question, how come that the Torah mentioned Yitzhak ben Avraham? Yitzhak was the son of Abraham. Avraham given birth to Yitzhak. So the question here, why is the Torah mention twice the name Yitzhak and twice the name Avraham? Previous year, we brought different opinion that Rashi brought, that the people used to mock Yitzhak and Rivka, and they used to say, for many years you didn't have kids. Chas v'shalom, after she'd been taken to the house of Avimelech, the child was from Avimelech. Later on, we saw that we explained that when it say Avraham olidet Yitzhak, okay, that means that Avraham and Yitzhak was looking the same, identical, to show to all of those that mockery and try to say that Chas v'shalom, that Yitzhak came from Avimelech HaRasha, Chas v'shalom. Okay, but that's what we explained previous year. We brought other explanation. But we have to understand, really, why is it mentioned the name of Avraham Avinu twice and the name of Yitzhak Avinu twice? Why is the Torah wasn't enough to say like this, Ve'Avraham olidet Yitzhak, and Avraham giving a birth to Yitzhak. And that's it. And then we know that Yitzhak is the son of Avraham, and Avraham is the father of Yitzhak. Pashut. So I saw a commentary that the Mefarshim bring, and the Mefarshim explain like that. The Mefarshim say, by that it say that the name Avraham twice, okay, it's come to tell us something very important, that Avraham Avinu prays that he have a son like Yitzhak. Avraham Avinu prays that he have a son that is a righteous man. Not only that he's a righteous man, that he's only the one that worshiping HaKadosh Baruch Hu with the fear of heaven. From the other way, why is it mentioned the name of Avraham twice? It's Yitzhak Avinu, now the son praising, that you know where I get all of this value. You know where I get all of this righteousness. You know where I got that fear of heaven. Because I'm the son of Avraham Avinu. I was living in a house that I saw the Kedusha. I saw the holiness. I saw the purity. I saw the fear of heaven that my father had. And that's where I get it. That means that Avraham Avinu prays for his son, and his son Yitzhak Avinu was praising his father Avraham Avinu. That means each one built his quality and spoke about the quality of the others. Why? Because each one said that, look at my son, how great son I have. The son said, look how great father I have. And that's what the Torah comes to tell us. By that it mentioned twice Abraham, the son was praising his father. Yitzhak Avinu was praising his father. But that it's mentioned twice, the name Yitzhak, Avraham Avinu was praising his son that becomes such a righteous man. Okay? So far we understand that. But we explain why twice. That means that Yitzhak Avinu always prays, I have such a great father, that he helped everyone. Not only that he helped everyone, he teach Torah to all the world. Now you're all going to stop and say, wait, but Torah only been given much later, 6th generation later, when Moshe Rabbeinu received the Torah. But Avraham Avinu kept all the Torah, but he used to teach those people that he used to convert that there is 7 laws of Noah that they're obligated to keep. And the biggest mitzvah that you have to teach them, to believe in the Almighty, that there is a creator for the world, and not to be pagan to worship idols. And that's what Hazal said that he used to teach the rest Torah. Although there's certain people that was, like Shem Va'ever, that he used to study with them Torah. And Hazal say Mamre also was studying with them. I saw another commentary that why it's mentioned twice, the name of Yitzhak and the name of Avraham mentioned twice. I saw a commentary of Ma'arav Me'amishinov. Ma'arav Me'amishinov, it's Rabbi Menachem Kalish. Rabbi Menachem Kalish, born in the city of Amishinov in Poland. He born around 161 years ago. And he was the first Rebbe of the movement of Amishinov. And he said that where Yitzhak Avinu and where Avraham Avinu have all of this quality. He said like this: Yitzhak Avinu drive its quality, received all of his quality, from where? When he saw that he had such a righteous father like Avraham Avinu. That Avraham Avinu was doing only good thing in the world. All he done, he helped everyone. Isha Hesed. From that he was doing Hasadim, the Hesed that he was doing, he realized that that's where Yitzhak Avinu received all of this quality. And if you look carefully, we spoke about it last year or the year before, I'm not exactly sure. When Rivka Imenu given water to Eliezer, okay, to Eliezer Eved Avraham, that was the test. What was the test that Eliezer saw? It's not just giving water to him himself. After she finished giving him water, what has she done? She given water to who? To the camel, to the animal. The test was, is the wife of Yitzhak Avinu, Rivka Imenu, can be and have the quality that she can fit in the shoes of Sarai Imenu? Because the house of Abraham was all about hospitality. Can the new daughter-in-law now can serve and be part of that family? When Eliezer saw how Rivka behaved, that's when he knew it. That means that to come to the house of Avraham Avinu, to find a wife to Yitzhak, you have to have a special woman with a special quality. That she would love to have Hesed and to be a woman that can fit into the shoes of Avraham Avinu and Sarai Imenu. Because after all, Rivka into the tent of Sarai Imenu. But she have the quality of hospitality. And that was the test. And that's, Rabotai, when Yitzhak Avinu all the time saw how his father behaved, help people. Okay, the house was full of hospitality. Everywhere and everyone that came can find a place to rest, can find a place to eat, to sleep. It's called Eshel, Achila, Shtiya, Lina. Achila it means eating. Shtiya is drinking. Lina is sleeping. That Avraham Avinu provides for everyone all of those qualities. And that's what the first thing that Yitzhak Avinu used to praise all the time about his father. And now we can understand where he received this quality. To receive those quality wasn't a simple thing that I come and that's it, I receive. No. When I saw how my father behaved, Avraham Avinu, and how Avraham Avinu was hospitalized people. That means when people used to come to his house, how he used to respect them, how he used to feed them, how he treated them with a manner and respect, and how he helped everyone when he need help. And we saw what's happened with Lot, that he have to run to fight with the 5 kings to save Lot. Yitzhak Avinu have all of that quality. Where is he received that? From Avraham Avinu. And that's why now we can understand why in the first verse, the name of Avraham mentioned twice, Avraham Avinu, and the name of Yitzhak, that Yitzhak Avinu mentioned twice, to tell us that the quality of Avraham Avinu and the quality of Yitzhak. Yitzhak Avinu received the quality from his father, and his father Avraham was praising Yitzhak that he had such a great quality. And in the end of the verse, it says something very interesting. Listen what it says. It says, "Ve'Avraham olidet Yitzhak." Avraham given a birth to Yitzhak. And many of the Mefarshim say, well, what's happening here? How can you say that Avraham given birth to Yitzhak? Avraham was the father of Yitzhak. You can't give him a birth. A mother gave a birth. So how do you tell me that Avraham given birth to Yitzhak? Also, previous year we spoke about it, but today I'm going to bring a special Hiddush. Sorry, I needed to drink something. My throat is dry. I'm going to bring today a beautiful Hiddush that I read when I wrote the Shiur. I saw that in the book that's called Or HaChaim. Or HaChaim, we call it Or HaChaim HaKadosh, but the book called Or HaChaim. It's been written by Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar. Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar, born in the city of Sali in Morocco. And he asked this question also. How come that you told me that Avraham olid et Yitzhak? Avraham given birth to Yitzhak. Avraham, it should say Avraham was the father of Yitzhak, but not given birth. And if you say that Avraham was the father of Yitzhak, you know obviously that he was his father. What's happening here? Rabotai, listen to that. It's something very, very deep. And if you don't understand, just send a message with your tongue and I will explain. Say Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar, that the soul, the neshama of Yitzhak Avinu was a neshama from the Sitra de Nukba. I will explain what it means, Sitra de Nukba. Sitra, it means size, different size. Nukba, it's from a woman. That means that he had the soul of a woman. A woman cannot bring children to the world without a man. Here, a man have a soul of a woman. It's a bit heavy, okay? That means originally, Yitzhak cannot bring children to the world. So what's happened? Say Rabbi Chaim Ben Attar, when Avraham Avinu saw that, it hurt him because Avraham Avinu was in the same situation. Avraham Avinu also couldn't bring kids until HaKadosh Baruch Hu took him out and said, "Say, come out and look at the star." You remember we explained that. Avraham Avinu davened to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and pled that Yitzhak Avinu neshama will change. Because sometimes we see that there is couple battling to have kids. Why is it? Hazal explained that sometimes it's the wife or sometimes it's the husband, okay? That the soul, it's misitra de nukba. Today in medical term, they call it they don't have the right sperm, and that's a different issue. But what say Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar, that Yitzhak Avinu cannot have kids. What's happened? Avraham Avinu have to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu to change that soul. What does it mean to change that soul? It's not so simple. Avraham Avinu, a matter of fact, by his davening to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, brought down a different soul to Yitzhak Avinu. How can it be? Listen to that. Or Chaim HaKadosh say like this, and he explained it in Parashat Vayera, in chapter 18, verse 10. Listen what he said. In Parashat Vayera, towards the end, Avraham Avinu taken Yitzhak Avinu to where? To the Akedah. The Zohar HaKadosh say that when Yitzhak Avinu was there on an altar, he, a matter of fact, died. And Avraham Avinu davened for him, and he brought him a different neshama, and he came alive again. That means, say Rabbi Chaim Ben Atar, that Avraham Avinu managed to bring down from heaven a different neshama to his son, listen to that carefully, and that son now can bring children to the world. And that's what it says. Now we can understand why the Torah say, Ve'avraham olid et Yitzhak. That means Avraham Avinu draw a different soul that penetrate the body of Yitzhak Avinu, and now Yitzhak Avinu can bring kids. Until the age of 40, okay, no chance. Only in the age of only in the age of 37, from that on, Yitzhak Avinu can have kids. Now we can understand why it says, Ve'avraham olid et Yitzhak. Let's continue now to verse 20. And in verse 20, it says something very interesting. Listen to that. Vayihi Yitzhak ben 40 shana bekahto et Rivka bat Betuel Arami mipadan Aram achot Lavan Arami lo liisha.
Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, daughter of Bethuel, the Romania from Padan Aram, sister of Laban, and Armain as a wife for himself.
Okay, here the Torah put a lot of emphasis on that Yitzhak Avinu, when he married Rivka, when he took her as a wife, he was 40. And there's two questions that we have to understand. I don't understand. Yitzhak Avinu, you was in the age of 37 in Akedah. Now, suddenly you told me you're 40 and you married who? Rivka. What's happening here? Where's the 3 years disappear? These 3 years here missing. Because on Akedah, you was 37. So where you was for 3 years? Yitzhak. Where was Yitzhak Avinu? Question number one. 3 years missing here. Bezrat Hashem will explain that. Question number two. The Torah put a lot of emphasis in to tell us that Yitzhak Avinu married in the age of 40. That means Avraham Avinu sent his servant Eliezer to go and find a wife to Yitzhak in the age of 40. Why did you wait it so long? Why Dafka 40? Two questions. Be'ezrat Hashem will try to answer. So first of all, we have to understand where Yitzhak Avinu disappeared for 3 years. So Hazal tell us something extraordinary. Listen to that. Hazal in a Midrash Bereshit Rabbah in chapter 56, verse 11, say that when Yitzhak Avinu, after the Akedah, listen to that, at the age of 37, for 3 years gone up to heaven to learn Torah. Because we explained that his neshama changed. So that means Yitzhak Avinu gone up to heaven to learn Torah for 3 years, to be ready, and then he married Rivka. Other opinion bring, no, he didn't go on to heaven. He gone, that's more according to the Pshat, he gone to the house of Ever, Shem Va'ever, where he learned Torah for 3 years, and only after that he knew Torah, now he can get ready to marry. So that's where he disappeared for 3 years. Question number 2, we say number 40. Why is the Torah put a lot of emphasis on that Yitzhak Avinu married in the age of 40? I saw a beautiful commentary, Rabotai, that bring Rabbi Rafael Bardugo. Rabbi Rafael Bardugo, born in the city of Maknes in Morocco, 274 years ago. Actually, they called him Hamalach Rafael because he used to make miracles. He was so holy, Rabbi Rafael Bardugo. And he explained like this. He said, Avraham Avinu decided to send his servant Eliezer to Haran to find a wife to Yitzhak Avinu only in the age of 40. You know why? Said Rabbi Rafael Bardugo, in that generation was most of the world was idol worshippers, as we know. B'tchila of de avodah zara yu avotenu. Hazal say in Haggadah, we saying it, that in the beginning, the world, and even our forefathers, sorry, Avraham Avinu, not all the forefathers, there was idol worshippers. Until Avraham Avinu in the age of 3 find, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveal himself to him. What's happening here? Avraham Avinu knew that most of that generation that he lived and his son, they're all pagan, idol worshippers. And he was worried, number one, that if he find a wife to his son, she's gonna influence him. Because the wife, in general, have a lot of strong influence on her husband. So say Avraham Avinu, I'd rather wait that Yitzhak Avinu will reach to the age of 40, because Hazal in the Gemara, in the Mishnah in Masechet Avot, in chapter 5, in verse 21, tell us, Ben Arba'im Labina, in the age of 40, okay, that's when a person reach to his intelligence, to his wisdom, and only then, in that age, you have enough wisdom, enough intelligence, that he can stand and decide what he wants. So say Hazar, say Rabbi Rafael Bardugo, you know why Avraham Avinu waited for 40 years? Because he sent Eliezer to where? To Haran. In Haran was idol worshipping. It's a different country completely. You know that he's gonna bring a wife from Haran. And if he's gonna bring a wife from Haran, she may be from the house of idol worshipping. I don't know. I want my son to influence, enough power to influence the wife, and not the wife will influence the son. So what did you say? I'd rather wait for him to get to the age of 40, that he have enough intelligence, and he's gonna be enough intelligent person and have wisdom that he will influence the wife, and not that the wife will influence him. And now we understand why the Torah put a lot of emphasis on that Yitzhak Avinu married Rivka at the age of 40. We explained in previous year why that he had to take a wife Dafka from Haran, Padan Aram, that's Haran, we explained, that why Dafka from there? And we brought different opinion in different years. One of the idea is that the woman in Eretz Canaan was morally corrupt, while in Haran, they was idol worshiper, they was pagan. Say Rashi HaKadosh, and many of the Mefarshim, that it's easier, listen to that, to correct something that is a pagan, that worship without knowing, than someone that morally is corrupt. That the Canaanite was morally corrupt. Avraham Avinu didn't want a woman like this to his son. So he rather take as a wife to his son, Yitzhak Avinu, that she come from the house of pagan, and we know what did Lavan say to Eliezer? Piniti abayit, I clean the house. Clean the house from what? From idols. Because he knew that Eliezer came from the house of Abraham, and Abraham believed in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He was against idol. So Rivka Imenu came from the house of idol worshippers. And also, listen to that. That's the great Hiddush. Avraham Avinu said, take a woman to my son from a house that the idol worshippers, but not where they're morally corrupt. And look how dangerous is it to take morally corrupt when the generation is morally corrupt. Where we saw it in the Mabul, the time of the flood, that morally there was corrupt. What did HaKadosh Baruch Hu done? Wiped off the world completely. While in Dora Palaga there was idol worshippers, and they wanted to fight with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't destroy the world. Didn't. What has he done? He spread them. He split them away. And that's the difference. So now we understand why, number one, where was Yitzhak Avinu for 3 years? Where is those 3 years he disappeared? We understand why, number 40. We understand why Dafka from Haran, the wife, has to be for Yitzhak Avinu. Let's move on to verse 23. And in verse 23, it says like this: Vayomer Adonai la, shne goyim bebitnech, ושני לאומים ממעייך ייפרדו, ולאום מלאום יאמץ, ורב יעבוד צעיר. בכבוד, לואי. Louis, are you with us? Can you hear me, Louis?
Wait, oh, sorry. I was on mute. I don't know why. I must have touched
Okay,
the...
no problem,
Oh.
no problem.
And Hashem said to her, 2 nations are in your womb. 2 regimes from your inside shall be separated, and the mighty shall pass from one regime to the other, and the elder shall serve the younger.
Okay, here we see something very interesting, that Rivka Imenu gone to ask, how can it be that when she passed by shul or by Bet Midrash, okay, the child want to come out. From the other way, when she passed, Lo Alenu, Batei Avodah Zarah, idol, place of idols, suddenly the child want to come out. How can it be? What's happening here? What's happening here? I don't understand. So we have to understand what was the fear of Rivka Imenu. What's happening here? Rivka Imenu have a fear that she might have a child that is a fickle. Change his mind. 1 minute he's become a Rebbe, the next minute, Lo Alenu, he's an idol worshipper. And the fear of Rivka Imenu was that Has v'Shalom, she have a child that is a fickle. That means change his mind, double standard. So what was the answer that she received? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell her, Shne goyim bebitnech, you have 2 nations. What kind of an answer is that? I don't understand. You're telling her that she have 2 answers. Now you make her more worried. Why do you make her worried? Because now that you tell her that she have a twin in her stomach and a womb, she's gonna get more worried. Why? Because Chas v'Shalom, they can get hurt. They're gonna fight. So in previous year, we brought different ideas. Today, I'm gonna bring one idea, and I'm gonna connect the second idea. You'll see now. So I saw a beautiful commentary of Rabbi Aharon Parlov Mikarlin. Rabbi Aharon Parlov Mikarlin, that's the second, that's the young one. It's not the older one. The older one was the grandfather. He born in the city of Karlin in Belarus. He born 219 years ago. And he wrote Bet Aharon, the house of Aharon. That's the book that he wrote. That's where he explained. And he said like this: Rivka was worried about the health of that child. Now that you tell her that you have 2 children, she actually become more worried that Chas v'Shalom, something going to happen to them. Come Rabbi Aharon Mikarlin, okay? And he bring the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat in page 32, folio 1. And he said like this: the Gemara tell us that Shmuel never used to go on a ship if it was all the passenger was only Jews. Why? Because we know that one of the things that a person have to say Birkat HaGomel when he crossed the sea. That means when you go on a boat. There is Le'alacha, it's different. There is, according to Rav Ovadia, if you fly over the sea, you also have to say Birkat HaGomel, okay? Anyway, vice versa. He said, Hazal tell us that Shmuel never used to go on a ship that is only Jews. He used to wait until will be other passenger that they're not Jewish, and only then he used to sail on a ship. Hazal and the Gemara explain, you know why? Because there is a danger to sail on the sea. He said, therefore, Shmuel have learned, teach us halacha, that when you're in time of danger, and these 2 different nations together, the power of the angel of death to criticize against 2 nations, it's unheard of, almost unheard of. But when it's come to criticize against 1 nation, it's much easier. Shmuel said, in that case, you know what I'll do? I rather sail with when there is also Gentile on a boat. Say Rabbi Aharon Mikarlin, when what happened, that the Torah tell us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Rivka, you have a twin. That means 2 nations. Rivka was worried for what? For her health and the health of the child. So here HaKadosh Baruch Hu come and comfort her, and he said, don't worry, nothing, no harm going to happen to you. You know why? Because you have 2 nations in your stomach. And Hazal tell us that in a time of birth, why does a woman have to say Birkat HaGomel? Because in a time of birth, Megi'ah le'sha'arei mavet. Hazal tell us in the Gemara that a woman can reach, she feel like the neshama coming out when she deliver a baby. If it's natural birth. The agony and the pain. And Hazal say, Kol atzmotea mitpokekot. Like she feel like the bones starting to, how you call it, to separate one from each other. Hazal said that here you learn that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the answer that she received, that you don't have to worry about yourself and you don't have to worry about the health of the kids. So now we understand what was the answer to Umim Bebitnech. You have 2 different nations, because one going to be a Jewish nation, that's Bnei Israel, that's Yaakov Avinu. From the other way, we'll have Esav Avinu, that you'll have Edom. Okay, a different nation, the nation of Edom, that Hazal tell us that the nation of Edom is the Christian. Okay, so now we understand what was the answer. Listen to that, and now I'm going to bring to explain all of this. Say Arav, the Ben Ish Hai, Rabbi Yosef Haim, Rabbi Yosef Haim, Zecher Tzadik V'Kadosh Livracha, born in the city of Baghdad, 186 years ago. And the Ben Ish Hai say, now you can understand that when Esav came out, who was holding his heel? Yaakov. You know why he was holding his heel? Because he was frightened that he's going to be alone in a womb of his mother. And what's going to happen? The Chas v'Shalom, the angel of death, can criticize him. So what is he done? Immediately he grabbed the heel of Esav, and now they're two nations. And the angel of death cannot criticize against them. Now we understand why is it said v'teomim bebitnech. Okay, let's move now to verse 31. In verse 31, the Torah speak about the rise of birth that Yaakov Avinu. And look what it says. Vayomer Yaakov, mechera kayom et bechoratcha li.
Jacob said, sell as this day your birthright to me.
And we have to understand, Yaakov Avinu asked Esav to sell his birthright to him. Why is it so important that Yaakov Avinu asked Esav Arashah to sell him the birthright? Why is it so important? Why? Why did you find that you need the birthright? Why is it so important to Yaakov Avinu? That's a question that we have to understand. I saw a beautiful commentary, Rabotai, that brought by Rabbi Avraham Sabah. Rabbi Avraham Sabah, born in the city of Castilla in Spain. He born 582 years ago. Rabbi Avraham Sabah, a bit of history about him. He was the Mehutan of Marana Bet Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo, that wrote the Shulchan Aruch. And the story with him, that he suffered tremendous problem he had all of his life. He lived in Spain during the Spanish Inquisition. During the Spanish Inquisition, he had to fled. He didn't have a choice because he didn't want to convert. He didn't want to change his religion. He'd been forced to leave Spain. Two of his children, okay, been kidnapped by the church, and he never saw them anymore. After that, his wife died. He left with his two daughters. And one of the daughters married the son of the Marana Bet Yosef. And he wrote a book, Tzror Amor. And in his book, he explained like this. You know why it was so important for Yaakov Avinu to have the birthright, that he wanted to buy it? Why? He said that, and here, from here you learn that Rabbi Avraham Sabah was a great Kabbalistic. He said like this, when Yaakov Avinu and Esav was in a womb of their mother, Rivka, Yaakov Avinu was supposed to be born, the first one. He was supposed to be the older one, the Bechor. But what happened? He said that Esav Arasha, with his kind of, violent attitude, he forced Yaakov Avinu to the side, okay? And he came out. Hazal also tell us that when Esav came out, he didn't want his mother to have any more children. What has he done? He actually pulled out the womb of his mother, that she can never have, the womb of Rivka. That means that Yaakov Avinu was supposed to be the firstborn, but Esav was so violent and so aggressive that he pushed Yaakov aside and he came first. Yaakov Avinu knew that, therefore, he couldn't give up about the birthright, can he make sure that in the end he bought it? And he bought it for a bowl of lentil. We know the Chazal tell us, we spoke about it, why dafka mina adom adom hazeh, and then they call him Adom, that he become the nation of Edom. So say Rabbi Avraham Sabah, because Esav HaRasha actually robbed the rights of the firstborn, Yaakov Avinu didn't have a choice. You have to buy it. And that's why Yaakov Avinu was willing to do everything to get the birthright back. And now we understand why Yaakov Avinu, it was so important for him. Let's move now to chapter 26, Louis, verse 13. 26:13. I'm skipping because the time we actually running a bit late, and I'm gonna try to catch more psukim. ויהי לו מקנה צאן ומקנה sorry. ויגדל האיש וילך הלוך וגדל עד כי גדל מאוד.
The man became a great and kept becoming greater until he was very great.
Okay, so if you look in this verse, the word great, okay, been mentioned 3 times.
Yeah.
And many of the Mefarshim ask, why dafka 3 times? What's happening here? First he's great, more great, until he become great. So great that you go, what's happening here? So on a pshat of the Dvarim, we learn from here that that Yitzhak Avinu was richer than Avraham Avinu and Yaakov Avinu. And Chazal tell us, and the Torah tell us, Ve'Avraham kaved me'od. That means Avraham have everything. Bamikneh, that means in a flock, and everything, Avraham was rich. But from here you learn, number 1, according to the pshat of the Dvarim, that Yitzhak Avinu was richer than Avraham Avinu and more richer than Yaakov. Okay, but why is that? Why does the Torah tell us all of that? The Torah come to tell us, you know why the word great mentioned 3 times in that verse? Because the blessing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless him. What does it say? Ki barech avarecha v'itbarchu bezaracha. Chazal said from the 3 words that HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed Yitzhak Avinu, that's why the word great mentioned 3 times in our verse, to tell you that all the richness, all the prosperity that Yitzhak Avinu received, he received it from where? From the 3 blessings that he received. And that's why how we become so great and so rich. Let's move on now to chapter 27, verse 1. 27:1. 27:1. And look what it says here. It's very interesting what it says here. ויהי כי זקן יצחק ותקהנה עיניו מראות ויקרא את עשיו בנו הגדול ויאמר אליו בני ויאמר אליו הנני.
And it came to pass when Isaac had become old and his eyes dimmed from seeing, that he summoned Esau, his older son, and said to him, my son. What he said to him, here am I.
Okay, here we see that, as a matter of fact, Yitzhak Avinu called Esav. Why is he called him? Why is he summons him? The main reason that he summons him is he wanted to give him the bracha, the brachot, the blessing, we know. And there is a famous question that many of the Mefarshim ask. And that question, today, the question and the answer that I'm going to bring, it's from Harav Moshe Yeheskel Tzalach. Harav Moshe Yeheskel Tzalach, born in the city of Baghdad in Iraq 125 years ago, and he wrote a book that's called Vayakel Moshe. And in his book he said, how come HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't told or didn't reveal to Yitzhak Avinu. That a matter of fact, that Yaakov Avinu is the one that deserves to receive the brachot and not Esav. How come that the Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't open the eyes of Yitzhak Avinu to understand that Yaakov is the one that deserves to receive the brachot and not Esav? Why? So on a pshat of the dvarim say, Rabbi Moshe Yehezkel Tzalach Lagdus, he said that you know that the job of Yitzhak Avinu supposed to be that he shouldn't trust Esav. Esav used to say to his father, how do I do maaser with the salt? Salt, you don't have to give maaser. You don't have to do maasrot. Maasrot, you do only with fruit. But Yitzhak Avinu was thinking, look at my son. He's such a righteous man. Say Rabbi Yehezkel Tzalach, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know why he punished him? Because he didn't check after his son. He didn't check, maybe I have a son that is ish side, ish tzadeh, that he used to catch the people with his mouth. That means he used to check after him. Maybe he deserved to get, maybe he not deserved to get the brocha. That's one explanation. The other explanation that say, Rabbi Moshe Tzalach, he said, if you look at it, if Yaakov Avinu would receive the brachot, you will never have to fled to Haran. And if he will never fled to Haran, he will never married, and he will never find his shidduch. Because when he gone to Haran, who he met? Rachel and Leah, Bilhah, you follow, and Zilpah, the four mothers. He said that if he didn't have to go to Haran, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will tell him to bless Yaakov, then Esav will never hate Yaakov. Yaakov never had a reason to run away from his house, to go to his uncle, okay? The uncle of his mother, okay? I mean, the brother of his mother, uncle. Then we wouldn't marry Rachel and Leah and Zilpah and Bilhah. Then we wouldn't have the 12th tribe. So the main reason that HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't reveal to Yitzhak Avinu that Yaakov is the one that deserves, that he will try and give it the brocha to Esav. And Yaakov Avinu gonna come via the back door. And he will take the brachot because he really deserves it. And he really got it because he's the Bechor. He have the rights of the rights of the birth, okay? The birth of right. And he will receive the brachot, and then Esav will get cross and force him to run away. And that's the main reason, say Rabbi Yaakov Tzalach, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't open the eyes of Yitzhak to understand that his son is actually not. When I say his son, I'm referring to Esav that wasn't the right one that deserved. Let's move on, and with that, we're going to conclude with the Parsha to verse 41. Louis, verse 41, chapter 27, verse 41. And here you'll see something very interesting. ויסתום עשיו את יעקב על הברכה אשר ברכו אביו, ויאמר עשיו בליבו, יקרבו ימי אבל אבי והרגה את יעקב אחי.
Now Esau harbored hatred towards Yaakov because of the blessing of which his father had blessed him. And Esau thought, may the day of mourning for my father draw near, that I will kill my brother Yaakov.
Here the Torah tells us that Yaakov, he received the brachot. Esav hated him. And he say that he gonna kill him. He say in his heart that he gonna kill him. But when is he gonna kill him? when the day is going to come when they sit in mourning for the father, Yitzhak Avinu. And many of the Mefarshim ask, wait, I don't understand. Esav, if you hate him and you want to kill him now. You don't know when your father going to die. Why you have to wait so long? That's question also been asked by the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh. Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh, born in the city of Andripoli in Turkey 514 years ago. And he asked also this question. Why did Esav decide that he want to kill Yaakov Avinu Dafka? Okay? On the morning when the father gonna die, and him and Yaakov Avinu will be mourners. So on the pshat of the dvarim, we know that because kibud avaim, Esav Avinu respected his mother and his father beyond understanding. Hello, kibud orim, like we can't understand. So he didn't want his father to see and to feel pain and sorrow, has b'shalom, if he'll kill the Yaakov Avinu. That's on the pshat of the dvarim. Come the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh and say, no. To understand that, you have to go to the Gemara in Masechet Sota. The Gemara in Masechet Sota, page 21, folio 1, tell us, Torah magna u'matzla. The Torah, when a person learns Torah, you want something to protect you, okay, and to save you from all different bad things, learn Torah. Say, Esav HaRasha, like this. Come the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh and reveal to us. Harav Salman Muchafi Zecher Tzadik V'Kadosh Livracha said that whatever commentary that wrote the Al-Sheikh HaKadosh is one of the 70 commentary that there is for the Torah. That's one of his explanation. It's one of from the 70 commentary for the Torah. That who was Al-Sheikh HaKadosh. And say Al-Sheikh HaKadosh, Esav HaRasha said, I know I can't kill my brother. Why? Because he's studying Torah. You know where I can defeat my brother and I can kill him? When he doesn't study Torah. When is that? When they're sitting Shiva. When you're sitting Shiva, you're not allowed to learn Torah. What's happened there? All the guardians, all the protection that the Torah have when you study it, suddenly you don't have it. Say, Esav HaRasha, you know when I'll manage to kill Yaakov Avinu? Only when he doesn't study Torah. And that's why he wanted to wait. Okay, when they're sitting. And what does it say? Yikremvu Evel Avi. What does it mean, Evel? The mourning of my father. Ve'erga et Yaakov Ahi. Only then I know that I can overcome Yaakov Avinu. Why? Because my brother Yaakov studied Torah. And if he studied Torah, I cannot harm him. That's Esav HaRasha. And if Esav HaRasha know the power of Torah, how much we should know the power of Torah, how much it's guarding, what's the power of godness that a person can get from study Torah, and what salvation he getting. Let's move on to the Haftarah. The Haftarah that we're going to read this week is the Haftarah in Sefer, the Prophet Malachi, and it's in chapter 1, and we're going to start like this. Look what it said there. Masa dvar Adonai el Israel beyad Malachi.
And the prophet, all right, the prophet burden of the word of Hashem through, I can't see it, Malachi.
Yeah, Malachi. Okay. First of all, the Haftarah that we read is from the book of Malachi. Who was Malachi? Malachi, we know that was a prophet. As a matter of fact, he was one of the last prophets that we have. The Jewish people have many prophets, but it was mainly 48 male prophets that the Jewish people have. They have 8 female prophets that they're very well known. But we have to understand who's Malachi. Malachi, okay, it's not a private name. Malachi meant a small angel, Rabotai. That's not his name. And Hazal tell us in a Gemara in Masechet Megillah in page 15, folio 1. You know who was the prophet Malachi? That was Ezra Sofer. Ezra Sofer, he was the one that helped the Jewish people to come from Babylon and to build the second Bet HaMikdash. He encouraged the Jewish people to leave Babylon after they got permission and to go to build the second Bet HaMikdash. Okay. That was Ezra Sofer. Okay. What does it mean, a prophet? Let's understand that. And that will help us to understand what it says here. Prophet, it means that you have to say word by word the prophecy that you hear from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you have to be so careful that the prophecy that you hear, you have to reveal it to the Jewish people. What does it mean? If HaKadosh Baruch Hu say 2 words, he's not allowed to say more than 2 words. Words by words, not to add up and not to subtract from the prophecy. And you have to be so careful, and that's what it's called a prophet, that he managed to receive the prophecy from Hashem to pass it on to the Jewish people. Now that we explain that, it will help us to understand what's happening in this. During the time of Ezra Sofer, the Jewish leader, after there was for so long in the diaspora, the Jewish people starting to lose their identity. It was quite a difficult situation and a tragedy for the Jewish people. And that generation, the leaders and the main people that led the Jewish people, starting to marry out of the faith. And when Ezra saw that, he knew that you have to rebuke them. And he started to rebuking them by that he told them that the woman that they took, first of all, they're Gentile. See if they want to convert. Those that don't want to convert, you obligate to divorce them. Those that want to convert, want to be underneath the sake of heaven, you're converting them. And Hazal said that the Jewish nation done tshuva in that time, during the time of Ezra Sofer. And then Hazal said something very interesting. After they listened to him, they start building the second Bet HaMikdash. But what's happening here? Therefore, in the beginning of that, what does it say? Masa dvar Hashem el Yisrael. What does it mean, Masa? It's heaviness, a weight. That means that the job of Ezra Sofer was that he have a lot of weights to put on Israel. What it was the weight that he have to put on Bnei Israel, on the children of Israel, or Am Israel, the nation of Israel, that he have to tell them that they have to do tshuva, to do repentance. Not only to do repentance, they have to convert their wife, or otherwise they're obligated to separate from their wife. They can't be with them, to divorce her, because they're not Jewish. So Hazal say that when the Jewish people listen to it and they done tshuva, what does it say in a prophet Nehemiah? It says, Lechu, Ichlu, Mashmanim, Ushtu Mamtakim. That's after that, after the Jewish people done tshuva, HaKadosh Baruch Hu accepted the tshuva, because the entire Jewish people and the leader, okay, those that didn't want to convert, they left them. Those that convert, that was willing to convert, the Jewish nation convert them. And after that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu accepted their tshuva, because they done a proper tshuva, and he accept, and they have 100% tshuva. HaKadosh Baruch Hu accepted them. And then what did HaKadosh Baruch Hu say? Go eat. What does it mean, go eat? Mashmanim. What does it mean, mashmanim? Fat food. Ushtu mamtakim. and drink something sweet. Drink something that's going to make you happy. Why? Because now that you've done tshuva, that you've done repentance, and I accepted your repentance, now you're my nation. And that's what it says, Masad Dvar Hashem El Israel, that the words that the prophet Malachi, that was Ezra Sofer, was a very heavy, very strong, and very difficult to pass this kind of message. But Ezra managed to do it. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should all merit, each one of us, and I'm speaking for myself personally, that I'll do tshuva from the heart. And everyone must understand, there's no such thing, that there's a righteous in this world, that he will do good, he will do mitzvot, but he'll never sin. Each one of us all the time have to understand that we have to do tshuva. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should all merit to do tshuva, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will accept our tshuva and will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu and will build the third Beit HaMikdash speedily in our day. Amen. Ken, you hear it soon. And if you have any question regarding the parsha, I will try and answer. Bechavot.
Rabbi, it's so pregnant, if we can use the word pregnant, this parsha with content. It's just amazing. There's so many aspects to ask questions on. But the one thing which is glaringly obvious is that Abraham knew, like you started off, and he explained something very good, that the Canaanite people, it was a moral lot, but not from where he came from. The people there, they may be misled, they may be idle, doesn't mean they weren't kind. That doesn't mean they, in themselves, they weren't good people, and he knew that. So Abraham, obviously, in his genealogy, he had this kindness that's come from somewhere. I mean, it just doesn't happen. It's part of his environment. So it was a very important thing for him to find someone like himself to look after Yitzhak, who, as you quite rightly said, and which was so important, that he's got to the age now of fully growth. He was at the peak. He was absolutely at 40. It's complete. He was a complete person, and those 3 years of learning plus his growth, as you explained to us. Now, Rivka came along, and her eyes were open. Her eyes were open because there's a big machloikas. I mean, here she's told to deceive the husband. To deceive her husband was involved with that. So his eyes weren't open because of what you just explained, why we had to run away, and the whole episode of the future of the Jewish people. But Rivka knew it. She must have known something, because from the womb she knew it. She knew this, and she had to fight deception with deception. Asa was total deception. You just explained how he would deceive his father.
Managed to deceive his father, yes.
So the only way you can be to deceive someone that deceives is to deceive them. To be able to fight like with like. So now, how come now with Rivka, she was a kindness epitomized. She was like Avram. She was that type of person. Now, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on what you've just explained us that made Yitzchak agree to what his mother had told him to do, and because her eyes were open and Yitzchak's eyes were closed. What are the ramifications of that, and what caused her to do that?
So let's first understand the house of Rivka came. Guys, there is some noise at the back. I don't know where's it coming. I'm going to mute everyone. Because I can't focus if there is noise at the back. After that, you unmute yourself and you can. So on a pshat of the dvarim, you have to understand. Rivka came from the house that her father was Lavan Arami. Take the word Arami, Ramai, change the letters, bring Ramai. Ramai is a cheater, a person that can cheat. He was a crook. That's the right word. So she grew in a house that she can see that her father, she can see her son, that her brother, they're all crooks. It's pashut. So she knew everything. Now, her mother, we say Adina. The Torah doesn't mention it. Avraham Avinu came, his mother was Amtalai bat Karnavo. The roots come from the mother, the milk that you drink from the mother. We explained that Moshe Rabbeinu, why he was started? Because at the beginning, Batia bat Paro, when she looked someone to nurse Moshe, she took a Gentile. And they forced Moshe to drink from them, and Moshe never drank from the milk. But few drops dripped in his mouth. And mouths that going to speak to HaKadosh Baruch Hu have to be cleansed. And that's why he touched, according to the pshat of the dvarim, he touched the fire and then he put it in his mouth and he becomes started. It wasn't that. It was to cleanse him that he can speak to the Almighty. Hazal explained that the milk that Avraham Avinu had from his mother Amtalai bat Karnavon and Rivka Imenu that have from her mother Adina, that there was good woman. When the root is good, the fruit is good. So although that she grown with crooks, but she had good roots. And when Eliezer saw that she had this quality that she can fit into the shoes of Sarai Menu, only then he brought her. And he saw that miracle happen, that when she come to the well to draw water, she didn't have to throw the, what do you call it, the bucket down. The water just came up. So it was a sign after sign to him. But that's not where it ended. What does it say? Let's ask the child. Rivka, if we take the opinion of Rashi that she was 3, or even if we take the opinion of the Hagra, the Gaon Mivilna, that she was 14 in that time, she's still a little girl. What did she say? I'll leave and I'll go. So if she going, sorry, her mother was Devorah. So the mother was Devorah, not Adina. Adina was the mother of Rachel and Leah. So, and it said that Maneket, who was the Maneket? The woman that nursed Rivka was Devorah. Maneket, Rivka, Devorah. That's mean that the roots, the foundation that Rivka had, she have a good foundation. That's what she had, what we call it in our terminology, you know, she was a street smart. Help her, you understand, how to deal with her son Esav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't do nothing for nothing. If he give you a child like Esav, the mother already she have to be street smart. Why? Because Esav was a street child. He knew all the tricks. So you're already given him. Yaakov Avinu from the other way, that was straight, but he also was smart. And he said to his wife, to the future wife, before he married her, I know your father. Because Rachel warned listen, I have a father. Oh, I have a father. He said, don't worry. My mother already taught me how to be street smart. So what's happening here? If you have a good root, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So she had a decent root and she used it. And in the age of 3 or 14, vice versa, which opinion you want to take, they're still little kids. And if she said, I'm going to go with that man, it was good enough. And when she saw Yitzhak Avinu davening mincha, because he constituted for us davening mincha, she fell off the camel. She asked, who's that man? Eliezer told her, that's the master. It was enough for Yitzhak Avinu, in the age of 40, after he'd been in heaven for 3 years, to have Ruach HaKodesh, to know that Rivka Imenu can fit into the shoes that his mother, Sarah Imenu. And the proof was, when he brought her into the tent, the candles start lighting again. So it's all fitted one with each other. We just have to read the Mefarshim to understand our Torah. You understand how it works? Beseder, Jeffrey, I can't hear you because you're muted, because I mute everyone. Please unmute yourself. Sorry. I can't hear you, Jeffrey. You're muted. Everyone muted. I muted everyone. Just unmute yourself.
Okay, all good.
Okay, yes,
So,
I can hear you now.
So it's so basically she was that smart. She took in everything that she knew about her life up to that point, even though it was at a young age, and to use it to her benefit because she had the experience of how to handle a situation. And the eyes weren't blind. They were open before she even we met Yitzchak. So
not only that,
thank you very much for that.
Not only that, I explained why did Eliezer immediately said to a father Betuel and to a brother Lavan, listen, we're leaving immediately. We're not going to waste time. There is a secret behind it. I explained in previous year, because her father, his name is Betuel. Betuel was a king, and he had a constitution that he make in Aram Naharaim, that every woman, listen to that, how corrupt the father was, but the mother was a decent woman. That the father said that every woman that married, she must spend the night before with him.
Yeah.
Eliezer said, whoa. That's not going to work with my master. That's not going to work with the mission that I've been sent by my master Avraham Avinu. That's not going to work. We're leaving now. So what did she say? I will go. Immediately I will go. Do you understand? There's depths and depths into it. You just have to look at the Mefarshim. You follow? Now you understand how smart she was. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure. Any other question, Rabotai? Hello?
Hello, Anthony. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, Antonio.
That's good. It says in 27 verse 34, chapter 27 verse 34, when Esau heard his father's voice, he cried out an exceedingly great and bitter cry. And said to his father, bless me too, Father. What type of cry was it? Great and exceedingly bitter. What type of cry was it? Such a great cry.
What it mean a great cry? You know why he cried? First of all, let's understand why he cried. On a pshat of the Dvarim, because Yaakov Avinu received the blessing. But the crying wasn't just for that. Chazal say that if Esav would receive the brachot, wouldn't be a chance for Yaakov Avinu anymore. That means we'll never be the children of Israel. That's how the Zohar HaKadosh explained. That means if Esav would receive the brachot, if Yaakov Avinu, let's put it this way, if Rivka Imenu wouldn't convince Yaakov Avinu to do what he done, the Jewish people wouldn't be a nation today. We wouldn't have Bnei Israel. Why? Because all the prosperity and all the blessing that the Jewish people have today and will have in the future would go to who? To Esav Rasha. And he all the time going to be in the control of us. But when he saw that Yaakov Avinu was too clever and he received the brachot, he realized what he lost. He lost his control over the Jewish people. You understand what was such a great cry?
Yes. Thanks very much.
Pleasure, pleasure. If there is any more question, Rabotai? No, there's no more question. So I would like to take the opportunity to wish all of you a great night, Laila Tov, a good night, and please God, Shabbat Shalom u'mevorechet to all of you, to bless you all, that you'll have a great Shabbos, and I hope that the way that we study the Parsha will help you to understand the Parsha and the Haftarah this coming Shabbos. And with your permission, Rabotai, I think that the festival of Hanukkah coming, I'll see if I'll manage to prepare something for the festival of Hanukkah for Sunday. If not, we'll do other show. But we need to, I would like to go with you through the history of Hanukkah to understand what is Hanukkah. So let's hope that on Sunday I will be ready for it, for Hanukkah. If not, we'll do something else. But Be'ezrat Hashem, I'll see you all and this coming Sunday. In the meantime, have a great Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom and Borechet to everyone. All the best. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Oh, good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.